So it's Saturday evening, and at least here on the East Coast. Technically, it'd probably be Saturday afternoon on the West Coast right now. Ashley, where is it where you are right now?
11:15.
Oh,
So it's still evening.
We're still evening. Okay. So it's Eddie Griffin time. Anyway, comedy for me is still comedy. I hope AJ gets that. Yeah, you do. Anyway, I can tell by the reaction. So we got another award show coming up on Sunday for the Critics' Choice, but this, of course, was already taken care of a few days ago. We have another awards body that has given out their nominations, and that is the BAFTAs. So tonight, we're going to discuss not our predictions, that comes later. No, we're going to be discussing the nominations in general for the 2019 BAFTA Awards. Hello, everyone. My name is Owen. Joining me, as always, at least for the award season, we have the panel of Ashley.
Crikey.
Channeling his inner crocodile hunter right now, apparently. And the very astute, very on point, very not thrown off by anything at all, AJ.
Yeah, there's some bullshit here.
Don't worry, something tells me without revealing my hand any earlier than I'm going to, which, by the way, I can shoot with you guys. Oscar predictions are Tuesday. Don't know what time yet, but stay tuned. I will state right now that I have a feeling someone else is going to rectify that, but we'll get to that sooner rather than later. So let's talk BAFTA, shall we?
Well, there's one thing that was pretty clear from the get-go, but I managed to come face-to-face with when I printed these nominations off.
Okay.
So it's like we've been saying all year, like, well, BAFTA is probably going to really take to the favorite.
Yeah.
When I printed these off, the very first page is nothing but a giant picture of Olivia Colman.
Oh, my gosh. I'm not necessarily surprised at this.
Is it her badger face, though?
No, it isn't.
No, sad face.
I saw the movie, so I know what that means now.
Yeah. Well, it's in the trailer as well, the badger face line, anyway. So
the review is coming, ladies and gentlemen. It's just going to be a little bit later. AJ had to watch the Americanized reboot of The Untouchables instead.
Hey, you know what's really funny is the day that I finally saw The Favorite was the day these came out.
Ah, great timing.
So are we starting anywhere in particular? Or because these are like all out of order.
Should we go with the one that they announced first, like a week before?
We're talking about the Rising Star?
Yeah, because I think that list is ridiculously strong because sometimes there's like one where it's like, why are actually they there?
Right.
But with Jessie Buckley and Symphony of Evo, which I called, Barry Keoghan, Lakeith Stanfield, and Letitia Wright, that's a ridiculously strong list. I would say. I don't know what you guys
Is there anybody missing, Ashley?
Not that I can really think of. They're sort of some of the youths that have, it's sort of because I thought Barry was going to get in last year because of Killing of a Sacred Deer and Dunkirk. But it's only when they sort of put him in American Animals that they actually bothered to pay attention to it this year.
It's weird to see Lakeith Stanfield here, like 6 years after Short Term 12 came out.
Can't believe it was that long ago.
Yeah, but it's the fact that, okay, it wasn't a great role, but, being in Go on the Spider's Web on top of, the one of the indie hits, Sorry to Bother You, he's probably had a stronger year this year than he did have a few years back. Because, if you think back to 2012, well, that might have been in or around when it was bloody Shia LaBeouf.
So it really can't.
2012. Yeah, 2012 was Adam Deacon, the guy that went on to be a criminal afterwards. But the other nominees that didn't win, of all things, Eddie Redmayne, Chris O'Dowd, Chris Hemsworth, and Tom Hiddleston. Boy, did they pick the wrong one out of that 5, didn't they?
Like the Grammys almost every single year for Best New Artist.
And then 2013, Juno Temple won over Elizabeth Olsen, Andrea Riseborough, Suraj Sharma. Has he been in anything other than Life of Pi? Oh, and Alicia Vikander. It was sort of busy anyway.
I remember seeing Sharma in one other thing, but I can't remember what it was now.
The only stuff I'm seeing is $1 Million Arm.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably what I'm thinking of.
Although apparently he's in Happy Death Day to You.
That's
wow.
right.
He fell off, didn't he? Well, I'm like looking at Life of Pi, $1 Million Arm, and then like really nothing major. Basically all Indian films, which didn't get picked up by any of the Western media. And then he just shows up in Happy Death Day to You.
So it seems like this video is not going to be very long in some ways, and it's going to be longer in other ways. So we're obviously going to go through who got nominated and some relative misses here, which we'll get to a little bit later as well. Do you want to start with Best Short Film? That's what I have on my lineup here.
I just love the fact that we've got a film called Wale going up against 73 Cows and a 38-year-old bachelor, involving also a blue door and a field.
That's the same movie. They just put too much punctuation in it.
Thing is, you've got to pay attention to this because, of course, 6 years ago, this was won by Six Shooter, which then went on to win the Oscar, which was from little-known director called Martin McDonagh. And I think, it was 4 or 5 years ago, Paddy Considine won for the short film that I think became basically Tyrannosaur. So, you know, some stuff does come from the short film category.
Right.
That maybe down the line could be, you know, something to watch. In all honesty. Hell, God, I completely forgot. 1993, it was won by Peter fucking Capaldi for Franz Kafka's It's a Wonderful Life.
Wow.
Because he directed it. Oh, and Chris Morris won in 2003 as well, of Brass Eye and Four Lions fame and all that. Yeah, Paddy Considine was Dog Altogether, which was, wow, 2008? That was 11 years ago? Jeez. Lynn Ramsey's Swimmer in 2013. I couldn't be bothered to actually list them on the Wikipedia page, so you have to manually click on 2015. Great job, guys. But yeah, quite a few recognizable names actually have come through here and have gone on to do somewhat big things. But other than that, I sort of really don't know a lot of them anyway, in all honesty. But that is the idea, I think. You know, it's somebody that is going to be sort of one to watch. And the same sort of goes with British short animation, because, of course, you got the history here of, like, Creature Comforts and Wallace and Gromit, which went on to win animated short film at the Oscars with I'm Okay, Martha, and Rough House. That's sort of all we can really do. I haven't found any of them online yet, but that's mainly because I haven't really had time to look.
I'm looking at the short list for BAFTA, both animated and live action, and I'm seeing a pattern here, at least from what I recall looking at the short list. None of these are on the Oscar short list. At least nothing on the animated for sure. There may be a few that I'm not thinking of.
Yeah, but keep in mind some of the animations don't qualify for Oscar until the following year.
That makes sense.
Case in point, last year with Revolting Rhymes, and then Stickman, and basically the ones that they show on Christmas television over here only then qualify like the year after. So Zog was the Christmas animation over here, Christmas Day 2018. You won't be seeing it until the Oscars in 2020 if it does get nominated for it. I'm just wondering if the it actually made it into any of the UK ones from last year made it into the short list for this year. I'll have a quick look myself.
Well, while we do that, we're going to go to the shock of absolutely no one, the 3 nominees for Best Animated Film. The basic usual suspects that we have right now. No surprise.
Yeah, so if there was one thing that was going to determine if Early Man has dropped off the face of the earth, this would be it.
Yep.
The thing that went against that as well, though, is it opened here like end of January. So I don't think it would have actually... Yeah, it would have actually been entered into last year's one, what I remember. Because films have to be released by February. And if they're obviously released before the February cut-off, they have to be in... Yeah, it released over here 26th of January 2018, so it would have been in last year's BAFTAs. So that's probably why it didn't feature, but I didn't think it was strong enough to, in all honesty, to feature anyway.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's... I think it's, as far as I can remember, I feel like it might be their weakest movie. At least that I've seen.
Yeah, I feel Flushed Away and Pirates have way more charm than this does. I'm trying to think if there's any others I'm missing off the top of my head that Arbon did outside the Woods and Gromit stuff. I guess Chicken Run, but they're busy doing Chicken Run 2 at the minute. And I guess Shaun the Sheep.
Yes,
Farmageddon, which is actually releasing here, I think, April. So I think they're actually having more confidence in that actually being a BAFTA contender by releasing it where they are.
See, the question that this doesn't help one bit is, what is that 5th slot in animated right now?
I feel like they're going to go with Mirai just out of laziness, because it's the only one that keeps showing up.
Mirai's the one that showed up in the Annies and whatever, so realistically, I'd say that was probably the most likely.
I guess I shouldn't say lazy not having seen it, because I don't know for sure if it warrants it, but it just seems like there's no really other one to go for.
Considering how baity it is from the whole political standpoint in it, I would not be surprised if Smallfoot made it in.
That'd be interesting.
It's not go.
Well, considering the whole bloody undertone of that film sort of being about fake news and, you know, what people should and shouldn't know, that seems like something that Academy voters might go, oh, look, political statement, boing. I don't think it's got a chance of winning, but I think it's going to be probably... If it wasn't Mirai, I'd say it's probably that, or maybe even The Grinch.
The Grinch is the only other thing that comes to my mind, but it doesn't seem like it was very well received.
Neither was The Boss Baby.
That's a good point.
It's still on cinemas over here, and it's the 12th of January.
I was just going to ask, have we determined if the voting in animated is the same as it was last year? Because if it was, that would probably help a movie like Smallfoot or The Grinch. Something much more on the radar. I don't know about on the radar, but widely seen.
I guess we'll see. Best film not in the English language.
for once, they actually sort of meet in terms of actual list.
The only one that I don't see popping up anywhere is Dogman.
The Man of Dogs. Well, keep in mind that, you know, that obviously was one of the big ones at Cannes. Because I think just reading here, it got Best Actor for Marcello Fonte. It was selected as the Italian entry, but it didn't get into the shortlist. So it was there, but it just didn't get picked. But I'm trying to think if there's come to think of it, with the list of the even if you go with the 5 Golden Globe ones, all of them came out this year over here. So I don't know. I don't know about the love for the other one.
To me, the big surprise here, the name that I see popping out, and it's all across the boards. Now I'm starting to see more like FYC for it and everything like that. And I'm finding more people talking about it as I look around the internet, and that's the Cold War. Did quite well for itself, at least in
really anything Parel Pawlowski's done well. You know, Ida did very well like 4 or 5 years ago. And then, I mean, I don't need to say to AJ what he directed in 2004 with Emily Blunt.
Summer of Love.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, he's got reputation for sort of doing strong stuff. And Cold War did get... You always get a sway over here with like, oh, we like Cannes stuff as well, because obviously, I think Powell got Best Director for Cold War. So that's probably. I mean, there's a possibility. I don't know whether it released in America, because I can't see a US release on the Wikipedia. God damn it, IMDb.
It's on the coming soon page for the art house we have here, which I'm assuming is in like the next couple of weeks. So which means it's probably been making the rounds for like a month or two at least.
It was at the Aspen Film Festival on the 25th of September, New York Film Festival on the 7th of October, Chicago on the 17th. So what I'm trying to say is, it looks like a shit ton of festivals. Yeah, it opened 21st of December. So it just about sneaks in. That's probably why there isn't much momentum for it in America, because it sort of snuck in, sort of probably for the Globes to not give a shit about it. Well, in quite often or not with the Globes, if there's some releases that are like in or around Christmas, they don't sort of really, they sort of ignore it a little bit. They didn't with Mary Poppins, but I guess that had enough press and sort of preview screenings in order to get the buzz that needed. I vaguely remember like some films that have been really well received sort of not really show up that much at the Globes, but get a lot more attention at SAG or at the other guilds or BAFTA or the Oscars. So.
Yeah, I think Cold War decided it was here to stay once it got in the Cinematography Guild.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to see where we go from here. So we move into Best Editing. But before, obviously, everybody was not surprised that Best Film Not in English Language still has the 4 normal contenders you always see every single awards body so far. I don't want to discount that.
So since you want to move on to editing, I guess it's worth mentioning. I mean, they still didn't go as far as they could have, but they seem to really love First Man.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to take to the Oscar body, though.
It's like I was telling you, when I read these the first time, it was in reverse. So I was actually a little surprised to see that Chazelle wasn't in director, because it seemed like that's
Right.
where we're headed.
Well, when you, not that we're not directly spoiling everything, but the fact that it's second joint highest nominated film alongside Rhapsody, Star is Born, and Roma. I sort of I understand from the technical point why it's there. Just because some of the visuals and the sound is pretty good.
Mm.
Whether I'm guessing some of these will obviously carry to Oscars. Some others, I'm thinking there may be other choices here and there.
Well, there were two movies we were talking about in regards to, or maybe this was just me, I don't know, but kind of battling for a slot in picture.
Mm-hmm.
Because we kept talking for a while there, we were saying, First Man, it'll be a Guild movie, and that'll save it. And that obviously didn't end up happening. Like, this is by far the best showing all year First Man has gotten.
Mm-hmm.
Which I almost feel like makes it ahead of If Beale Street Could Talk at this point. Because this is yet another industry award that basically said, fuck you to Beale Street.
Again, the problem with that is it's only been shown at the London Film Festival. It literally opens on the deadline that films have to come out. I think it's even opening the same week as the actual ceremony. But then again, I, Tonya did that last year, and that actually still won awards. So,
is there any movie in this lineup that you think doesn't fit?
It's still a little weird to me that Vice didn't get more backlash for its editing. I'm surprised they seem to be embracing it.
Of the three that I've seen, because I easily could go to places to see Roma because I'm not buying Netflix, but Vice doesn't open here till the 25th. Although I might be seeing a preview of it Monday if that's the mystery film, so I'll be able to see how good / bad the editing actually is.
Okay, so obviously I was gonna save this for another category, but I'm just so weirded out by BAFTA over a couple of things. So my sort of first inclination was, surely BAFTA won't go towards Vice because it's about American politics.
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole thing about BAFTA, at least for the longest time, was they really, really go towards British movies and British things in general. That was even a joke between us for the longest time. It's like, even if it's even so slightly British, they'll definitely go for it. However, Vice did fairly well.
Yeah.
So far,
nominations in total.
So far to the point, I know there are two different categories, but I mean, even so, you've got an extremely beloved British actress in an iconic British role who doesn't make it, yet a guy who played an American president who's barely in his movie is here. How does this happen? I know this probably sounds like a whole anti-Rockwell thing, which, if anybody is tuning in from last year and saw how I reacted to 3 Billboards, knows I'm anything but anti-Rockwell.
It's true.
It's baffling to me that I don't know, but we're obviously not at that category yet. But basically, in general, what I'm trying to say is I'm really surprised how much they went for Vice.
I mean, to be quite honest, if you look at that 5 right now, there's only a few that carry over to my Oscar predictions, and that's it. There's only 2. The rest of them are replaced by other things. I'm not going to say what they are because that's giving away my predictions, but there's a couple things I don't really... I mean, again, I can't judge these movies on editing because I've only seen one of them.
One thing we didn't mention about editing was after, I believe, showing up at the Editing Guild and now here, Bohemian Rhapsody's in a really good place in this category.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which is nice.
I still haven't completely decided if I want to run it or not. It's one of my last potential things I need to do.
Well, it seems that the smear campaign has shifted from Bohemian Rhapsody to Green Book now, so
I mean, yes and no.
because
There's still momentum behind it, especially when I think people noted that Bryan Singer took to Twitter to actually thank everybody for Bohemian Rhapsody, and it was like, if you want that film to actually win Best Picture at the Oscars, which it may have a chance of doing, stop tweeting anything, because people will weaponize it and use it as ammunition against you.
It's true.
thankfully, I actually started. I don't know about you guys, but shortly after the whole Globe scenario, when people were freaking out, I haven't really heard any more of the backlash of Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm hearing all about this. Somebody, some higher power, really wants Green Book to go down. But then there's also it's the sort of thing where it was kind of like maybe they'll just let it die because, like I said, shortly after the Globes, when people were freaking out at Bohemian Rhapsody, it seemed to just sort of die off almost immediately.
Mm.
That sort of seemed to be what was happening with the Green Book stuff, because there was the whole what Viggo Mortensen said, but like I said in that other prediction video, it seemed that once he apologized for it and all they talked about it, that just kind of went away. And then there was the whole thing about people bringing up what Farrelly was doing on the set of There's Something About Mary, which, interestingly enough, I remember hearing about at the time. And then he apologized and said the whole, yeah, I thought I was being funny, but it was dumb sort of thing. And then that seemed to go away, and then the Vallelonga tweets came up. And the thing, though, is that when they go away one at a time, that's one thing. But then I think Variety or something just recently put out an article like today that tried to group all the Green Book's controversies together and say, oh, Green Book's in trouble now. But it's like most of that has died off by now. But they're almost like the media is intentionally trying to keep it alive for the sake of I don't know. But by the way, did you see who it was that unearthed Nick Vallelonga's tweets? Remember the producer for La La Land that snatched the paper out of Warren Beatty's hand and presented?
Oh God, Moonlight Man.
Yes, that guy.
Him. Wow. What a snitch.
Guy that ruined my night that night.
So, if Green Book had this in the bag, he is now trying to snatch the paper and say, it's Roma. It's Roma that won Best Picture now.
I'm at the point now, I'm starting to believe it's neither of the above.
That would make things significantly more exciting. Nothing against either of those movies at all, but,
Gonna go for annihilation.
We're only, a week away from PGA already? Unless my calendar's wrong, that feels really early. But I think if my calendar's right, we're only a week away from seeing what the PGA winner is.
Yep.
Let me have a quick look. To the Derby of the Golds. January. No, you fucking advert. I will not be redirected back to my article in 9 seconds. I'm going back to it now, you bastard. Yeah, PGA is literally this time next week, next Saturday.
That is so weirdly early for such an. We're basically going to know what's going to win picture in a week, basically.
Probably.
I hope not. I hope we shake
the
things
track
up a little bit.
Considering the track record with that, it's more than likely going to be it. We can't say it definitely is.
Yeah, it's a little ironic I say that just after I brought up the La La Land thing.
Mm-hmm.
They gave it to Shape of Water last year, didn't they?
Yeah, because that's pretty much what made me stick to predicting it all year, even with the 3 Billboards push.
So we move on to makeup and hair. No surprises here, really. Don't forget, Oscar is only going for 3, so I'm going to guess your Oscar lineup is in here.
Did we determine the favorite wasn't shortlisted? I think somebody said that.
I don't think it is.
Quick to my bloody file. Where's my notes? Where am I? I put it in my picks just so it's easier for me to sort through. Where the fuck is it?
I love how you would think it wouldn't be that big a deal, but obviously BAFTA's always done it this way. But as far as Oscar goes, it's so interesting how much just adding and hair has changed what this category goes for.
Ridiculous, because the guilds are 2 separate things.
Yeah.
Some of them make more sense for makeup. Some of them make more sense for hair.
Wow. So the short list of 7 is Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, Border, Mary Queen of Scots, Stan and Ollie, Suspiria, and Vice.
Yeah, like based on obviously there's everything Margot Robbie was going through, but based on hair and hair's inclusion alone, I almost immediately jumped towards Mary Queen of Scots, which is something I totally wouldn't do if hair wasn't hair, and it was just makeup like it used to
be. I guess we'll see what happens.
Also, I love Vice. Nominees to be confirmed. We don't know who the fuck did it. It's in the credits, you bastards.
Costume design. Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Yeah, Netflix randomly gets thrown a lifeline here.
I was a little disappointed to see that they actually saw and were willing to go for the Ballad of Buster Scruggs, but it missed in cinematography. Like that would have been like the one place I'd have thought it would end up. Of course, I'm sure Netflix is working against that, but I'm assuming voters would see it theatrically, at least some of them.
Right.
Well, it was shown at the London Film Festival, so technically, like with Roma, shown at London Film Festival, nobody else got to fucking see it in a cinema. Hell, if it wasn't for my cinema just basically streaming, I may be direct streaming Annihilation from their media stuff or whatever, I wouldn't have seen it on the big screen. I wouldn't have even seen that this year, even though it's probably in my top 10. I still need to do that list. I'm pleased to see Sandy actually getting in twice, though. Which shows you how much of a good back catalogue she's got in that she did the costuming for Favourite and Mary Poppins Returns.
Yeah, because I feel like this is far from the first time she is or will be double nominated.
Yeah, because come to think of it, let me have a quick look. Yeah, she got double nominated in literally everything. Well, although technically they were separate categories at the Costume Guild, but she was double nominated for Carol and Cinderella in 2015 as well.
Yeah, I remember that.
And technically, Velvet Goldmine and Shakespeare in Love in 98, of which Velvet Goldmine won the BAFTA and Shakespeare in Love won the Oscar. She won twice for 2 different films.
I always loved the fact that Velvet Goldmine was nominated. So
what the hell was it up against that year? That's what I want to know.
I'm assuming Oscar-wise, this is pretty much what we're looking at, with the exception of Buster Scruggs. I imagine something will take its place.
For the most part.
I'd say Buster Scruggs is somewhat the outsider there. Don't even know what we've...
Oh, the fifth. I imagine the 5th will probably be Black Panther at the Oscars, wouldn't you say?
Maybe. I'm just trying to see if we've got the...
Because BAFTA was weirdly cold to Black Panther, apparently.
Yeah. Which is not going to matter in the long run, especially when it comes to the Oscar nominations.
Okay.
This is the guy that hadn't seen the movie.
I'm having a quick look at the Costume Guild nominees. So in Contemporary, we've got Crazy Rich Asians, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, Ocean's 8, A Star Is Born, and Widows. For Period, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favourite, Mary Poppins Returns, and Mary Queen of Scots. And then for sci-fi fantasy, Aquaman, Avengers, Black Panther, Nutcracker and the Four Realms, and Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah, all right. I can't remember if I mentioned this in a video or not, or if I was just talking to... No, I was just talking to Owen directly.
Yeah, you said it to me the other day when we were talking on the phone.
A Wrinkle in Time and the Nutcracker, you just kind of laugh at, but then it's like, I almost feel like it's totally possible for them to get like... Well, I won't... My thought process was Alice in Wonderland style nominations, but I don't want to go that far because Alice in Wonderland, I believe, won eventually.
If there's any Disney film that's making it in this year, it's going to be Black Panther or Avengers. I would say.
Black Panther has a better chance.
Yeah.
Overall.
In all honesty. But I'd say I'd pick those just in terms of like how well they were received by everyone compared to Nutcracker and the Four Realms and Wrinkle in Time, which weren't.
Visual effects.
I guess this is your usual suspects again. Really?
I mean, they clearly went for Fantastic Beasts, which I don't see showing up in the Oscar lineup.
Yeah, but First Man I can see being easily there.
Yep.
Ready Player One's got a chance. And Avengers and Black Panther are always going to be sort of probably in there, no doubt.
I don't know. Something's telling me the Avengers is coming up with a goose egg.
I know. I'm not. What are you saying? It's not even going to get nominated.
Nope.
But it's run by ABC. Oh, yeah. Did you not see all the anti-Disney stories about? Oh, well, they're clearly just having the Avengers on to host because they're desperate.
Yeah, because the argument I made to you, Owen, was the shortlist has Ant-Man, Black Panther, and Avengers, and for some reason, I got it in my head that they'll only want to go with one Marvel movie. And I know,
I can see that.
I know that's a hard thing to like assume, like all their minds would band together and think the same thing, but
if, actually, no. If you look at the list of 10, Ant-Man, Avengers, Black Panther, Christopher Robin, Mary Poppins, Solo. 3/5 of the shortlist are all Disney.
Oh yeah.
The other four being First Man, Jurassic World, Ready Player One, and Welcome to Marwen.
Cool Guy says Infinity War will get an FX nomination. We'll see.
I heard that not only do I think that like probably nobody was going to pick Christopher Robin anyway to get nominated. Apparently, on top of that, it had a terrible presentation when they did the Bake Off thing. So I think it can be laid to rest in like forever.
Cool Guy says I don't have Black Panther making visual effects, but if it gets nominated, it'll win.
It's still the best film with Christopher Robin in the title.
I'm glad to hear somebody talk positively about Black Panther's visual effects because, like, I am like people. There is gonna, on top of the fact that Aquaman was like snubbed from the short list.
Yeah,
there's gonna be so much bitching when Black Panther gets a visual effects nomination over the one fight, and that is gonna piss me off so much for the rest of the season to listen to that. Because everything else is like amazing.
But it's technically the only way that Andy Serkis will get another Oscar.
Production design.
More Fantastic Beasts here. I don't know what to say. It's just Fantastic Beasts is here. That's enough of a laughing stock for make me not give a shit about this category. Oh.
I mean, it's honestly for me, it's the only thing that doesn't fit.
Yeah, I like hesitate to say anything because this is the category that I'm the absolute worst at.
True.
So I don't really know how to take. I'm going to assume Fantastic Beasts is going no farther than BAFTA, like in any category.
That's my guess too, but I mean, we've been wrong
Oh,
before.
no. Razzies. Razzies. I think for what J.K. Rowling did in terms of like changing the whole story and everything, that could easily be up for worst screenplay. I would say. It's award season is not over. It's going to be at the Razzies.
I still am bragging on the inside, though, for a couple of years ago when I called the costume win for the first movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that one was good.
Yeah. Cool Guy says Fantastic Beasts is Dark Horse for production design and costume design nominations. Crimes of Grindelwald is not shortlisted for any Razzies.
Well, they don't shortlist Razzies. They just bring the nominations out the day before the Oscar nominations, just like with the actual ceremony.
Speaking of a category that I never am able to predict, best sound.
I think this is interesting because Mission Impossible made it in here. Because I honestly think that is going to be somewhere in mixing or editing, at least in one of the lists.
It could be.
There's enough strong films in sound where, I mean, I'm not going to say you're going to have 10 different films, but obviously last year they matched for the first time in a while. I feel there's enough for them not to match this year.
Yeah, I figure we're going to do the traditional, there'll be one difference.
Maybe. It might go as far as 2, though.
I was just trying to remember what the Sound Mixing Guild just went with. Because I think it was these 4, but then Mission Impossible was something else, but I can't remember what it was. Was it Black Panther, probably?
Cool Guy says Black Panther, Solo, First Man, Mission Impossible, and Quiet Place in sound editing. I can't predict the sounds. I never have been able to do it. I either predict the opposite of what gets in, like I predict mixing for editing and vice versa, or I just do terrible. So Cool Guy says Black Panther, First Man, Quiet Place, Star is Born, and Bohemian Rhapsody for mixing.
Yeah. Sound mixing, the Guild went for Quiet Place, Star is Born, Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, and First Man. I don't think the sound editing ones I don't think come in till nearly a week from now.
We'll see. Guild nominated Black Panther over Fallout and mixing. Ryan says I'm pulling a shift for Incredibles 2 to get in for both.
That's interesting.
That is a no guts, no glory prediction right there.
Yeah, you look at the 5 we have here and you throw Black Panther into the mix. I don't really see any outside things apart from that, unless there's something I'm just totally missing.
We'll see. Best original music.
So is this where I stressed how much I love that they put Black Klansman in here?
Yeah, that was to me, that's the surprise.
Though I do really love the music in that movie. It feels so like it's really like this underrated part in regards to how they brought out the era and the feel of it.
It's the first time, really, that all 5 are basically American productions. Because although Mary Poppins was probably filmed a lot in London, it's obviously technically an American film. That's interesting because normally there is sort of like some sort of. I think there's not even a British composer in there either.
It's a good sign for Beale Street that despite how much it was ignored, it still gets in here. So that's probably looking more and more likely. But yeah, I was just thinking the last time I watched Black Klansman, the scene after they shoot the targets, and then once they leave and John David Washington just walks by them, I was thinking, like, this should really be getting attention for, like, school.
Yeah.
This will probably be the only time that happens, but I'm happy while it's here.
Mm-hmm.
So, Cool Guy says Star is Born will win music. To be fair, Incredibles won sound editing. The original Incredibles won for editing and lost to Ray for mixing. Cool Guys is between First Man, Panther, Beale Street for score at the Oscars. Beale Street could upset and win score, says Smurfy Boy. First Man missed at BAFTA. Mary Poppins Returns underperformed here. We'll get to more later. We'll get to that.
I feel more strongly in Shallow getting best song than I do Star is Born for music.
Same.
I didn't even think about that.
I think there's a lot more contenders in original, score than one individual song that really stands out. In The Shallow.
I didn't even think about the fact that as much as they loved First Man, they snubbed it here. That's weird.
I mean, do you think that's going to affect it getting into score at the Oscars, though?
No.
That could easily take Black Klansman's place.
Yeah.
I'd have thought.
I mean, where's Isle of Dogs here, too?
Second or third. When it should have won 10 years ago. Just by default.
First Man, Isle of Dogs, Mary Poppins, and honestly, at this rate, I would say Beale Street are pretty safe here. If we're talking strictly score.
Yep. That's pretty much what I've got right now.
Not really sure what that fifth one. Oh, Black Panther's probably the fifth one, wouldn't it be? Didn't I just say that about another category?
Yeah, probably with the Critics' Choice.
Yes, if anything is missing from BAFTA, if there's we got 4 options.
Yeah, if there's anything missing from BAFTA, it's Black Panther.
Yeah, I see that.
Black Panther got fucking snubbed in everything, apart from a few of the texts.
We'll get to that in a little bit. Best documentary.
A strong list. Of which the one that's going to win
is not there.
Isn't even fucking shortlisted. It's the best bit.
Did they not get the movie in the UK?
It came out here first.
Why is it not nominated?
The Academy didn't fucking like it, apparently. Instead, it's in documentary short, but one of the films that's literally in documentary short is causing a lot of trouble over here. Oh, sorry, no, it's in live action short, even though it's basically a documentary, because it's about sort of the killers of Jamie Bolger, who was this kid that got killed 20-something years ago. And this director decided to make a film about it without any say-so of the actual the family of Jamie Bolger. And it's causing a lot of stir. It might get nominated for an Oscar. Despite all that. That's another one that could be in. Oh, I just noticed while I actually made it into live action short at the Oscars. So we've pretty much called that's one at BAFTA then.
We shall see.
But yeah, to me, the obvious 3 from the Oscars are there in Free Solo, RBG, and Free Identical Strangers. I really wasn't sure about RBG and Free Identical Strangers getting in, because although It's a Channel 4 co-production for Identical Strangers. Both films are CNN films. And I just wonder whether CNN will actually get 2 nominations in Best Documentary. But the fact that it made it in here leaves me more confident about that. And then also, McQueen getting in, about the fashion designer Alexander McQueen, makes sense as the sort of British choice. But yeah, I might as well call it now and sort of spoil it for you that They Shall Not Grow Old is going to be picked by the British Academy. And then everyone's going to go, why isn't it in the Academy? Why isn't it in the Oscar list?
I was thinking the exact same thing. Though there is one question here, and I don't think this is like, gonna be some deciding factor or anything, but it did make me go to the. I mean, obviously, it's always going to be in my head, and it's obviously not always the case. But when you think about Won't You Be My Neighbor, documentary is one of those categories where it's like being the front runner does not make you safe until
never. Waiting for Superman.
Bear in mind as well, Won't You Be My Neighbor had an extreme limited release over here. I really want to fucking see that. And I don't have a chance until it might show up somewhere on VOD and DVD.
Ashley, did Mr. Rogers ever air in the UK?
Technically, no, but everyone in the world was enamored by the Mr. Rogers marathon on Twitch, including me. When you find out, like, some of the stuff, like, literally the week of bloody Bobby Kennedy's assassination, they did an episode on assassinations.
Yep.
That'd be equivalent to Sesame Street going, what's 9/11? Like, holy shit.
Oh, I did that.
Oh, so Mr. Rogers is a very American figure, says Cool Guy. Brian says it could be the same with Black Panther as a big American film, not a British one. Brian brings up the fact that documentary feature is your worst category to ever predict, AJ. You only got 13th and Faces Places for the past 2 years.
Okay. But the thing here also is that I was talking about how the front runner can sometimes tend to be snubbed.
Yes.
But I can't remember if it's been the past couple of years or a few, but lately they haven't had a problem with that, with stuff like Amy and OJ and Made in America winning. But yeah, I'm always really suspicious of the documentary frontrunner. And like I said, I don't really see it missing at BAFTA as like a telling sign or anything, but it makes me just maybe slightly more paranoid. So but I'm sure it's fine.
Looking into the details for They Shall Not Grow Old, received a special US release through Fathom Events on the 17th and the 27th of December.
I remember hearing about that.
Warner Brothers is launching a theatrical release in New York, LA, and Washington on January the 11th, and plans to expand to 25 markets on the 1st of February. Because it missed the 1st of October filing deadline, the film was deemed ineligible for the Best Documentary Feature.
All right.
So that's why the Oscars are wrong.
Outstanding British film?
It's weird to think, considering how much of it's filmed in America, that You Were Never Really Here is technically a British film.
Yeah, it seems like there's always that sixth one in this category where it's like, oh, I didn't realize that qualified. Like,
yeah.
Wasn't it Billboards last year?
Well, the thing with that is, and I'm probably thinking it's the same with You Were Never Really Here. Let me just double check. Yeah. In both cases, it's film 4. So that's why it's British. In which case, Widows is fucked, isn't it?
I think that's the case across the boards, Ashley.
Just to slap it across the face, a movie called McQueen is nominated.
Yeah.
Cool Guy says Jane was the front runner and missed the nomination, even though it won PGA. Then Faces Places became the front runner and lost to Icarus. Cool Guy says favorite wins. Yeah, I think that's pretty obvious.
This also tells us immediately what's winning debut by a British writer, director, producer.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Just looking at the nominees.
Well, I honestly don't know. I don't know what Ray and Liz is. I don't know what. Is it Pilly? Just and Cambodian Spring. I'm not sure what that is.
These movies are so good they don't have Wikipedia pages.
It's honestly between Beast and Apostasy. I wouldn't say it's a definitive give it to Beast. Because if you're talking for like debut film, I'd honestly say Apostasy is probably better. In all honesty, the problem with that film is it like debuted, like set at TIFF in 2017, and although it's technically a British film, it took like 10, 11 months for it to actually come out. Which is weird considering all the acclaim that it did get at TIFF. So I honestly think don't rule Apostasy out. It's for me, it's between that and Beast as to what gets it. Then that being said, it'll probably go to one of the other three instead. And just completely confuse everybody. I mean, technically, considering I'm looking at the guy that directed Ray and Liz, considering it's like somewhat local to me, it's like, do I go against the local guy? Do I get local hatred? He did a short documentary called PlayStation. Oh my God, I might have to vote for him.
So yeah, that's a thing. So we pretty much knocked out 2 birds with 1 stone right there. Let's get cinematography.
Cold War.
It's a big deal right now. Do you see the love that it's getting at the BAFTAs generating to any Oscar love?
Just foreign and cinematography.
Yeah, I think, yeah. It's maybe got a chance there. Other than that, you know, I would not be surprised if it got switched out with, what a surprise, Black Panther. Because when you look at that, somewhat sausage fest.
Well, I love that Bohemian Rhapsody is here, but I'm really not confident in it in this category. So that slot could possibly be open.
Or it could possibly get it. You never know.
We got the cinematography.
That's it.
Cool
That's
guy said the same thing.
Work. Either they do or they don't.
Considering it, you know, considering. Okay, the Cinematographer Guild went for Roman Star is Born, Cold War, Favorite, and First Man. They went for a sausage fest as well. I'm just thinking there's been quite a few films with female cinematographers that one might get in when it comes to the Oscar list. I'd have thought. I guess Mudbound broke the mold last year, and we need, you know, that was the thing that surprised me as well. Looking at the credits for RBG at the start, everybody was a woman. Editing, cinematography, sound, all female, and that'll probably get. Well, it might win Best Documentary, but other than that, it won't get any recognition.
Ryan says Lynn Ramsey is Scottish.
What was that?
Ryan says Lynn Ramsey is Scottish, so that would be partially the reason. Roma wins cinematography. Says cool guy. He says, hopefully I'll do better than AJ in documentary, which is not very hard.
So what I was going to say about cinematography was I do kind of feel like A Star is Born is totally possible, like in that Bohemian Rhapsody slot here. And I was a little... I mean, I am feeling Black Panther here. This one's a hard one to get into. Because at first I wanted to dismiss Black Panther because everything else was more like traditional and less CGI heavy, but then you remember the 4 straight years where the winners in cinematography were CGI heavy with
Gravity,
Avatar, Inception, Hugo, and Life of Pi. So
Gravity got cinematography though, didn't it, as well?
What was that?
Gravity.
Oh yeah, it continued.
Yeah.
Cool Guy says Bohemian Rhapsody snubbed for Star is Born, Panther, Beale Street. Smirky Boy asks if Beale Street's out of cinematography now.
Was it in? Well, for some reason, it actually wasn't until recently I even started thinking about... I mean, it makes sense, obviously, but I didn't immediately jump to First Man here until recently.
Right.
But I mean, it would make sense. I don't know. I know, except for that one damn scene of Claire Foy walking across the street when it went all Paul Greengrass on us. But apart from that,
Cool Guy's thinking RBG's getting in for cinematography.
That's odd.
We don't often get documentaries in cinematography, but
we have.
I wouldn't rule anything out. In all honesty,
I would say we would get like, when was the last time a documentary got in editing? I feel like nothing big is going to happen for documentaries until they start regularly getting editing nominations.
Did One Day in September get in? That's the only one that I could think of in terms of editing.
Yeah, because I think Hoop Dreams might have, but it's like, surely since then at least one did.
Hoop Dreams.
I know a lot of people really pushed for Senna to get in, but it ended up not doing anything.
RBG says song. Yeah, then we'll get to that. We do our Oscar predictions.
There's no song with the BAFTAs because they don't like songs. There's a possibility it could get in for song, but considering like they only play half of it in the credits, it's like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's all about ratings.
Yeah, but you're more likely to get better ratings with the Jennifer Hudson Aretha Franklin film. Then, oh, she did a song at the end of a very good documentary that most people walked out on.
Best adapted screenplay.
Are we there already?
Yep. We're to the important stuff now.
We're already into the 8.
Yeah, like I was saying, I got so caught up, and sometimes I forget to celebrate. It's like I was so pissed off about the Blunt thing, I almost forgot to even acknowledge how really well BlacKkKlansman did here.
Yeah.
Which really makes me happy. And this category further shows their odd love for First Man.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's going to be the only one of this 5 that may miss at the Oscars.
Yeah, I'm once again. Shock surprise. You know what I'm feeling for the 5th slot that didn't show up at BAFTA? Well, I'm still not ruling out Crazy Rich Asians yet either in regards to that, especially after it got in PGA. But given that Black Panther got in WGA, I'm really feeling it for that last slot. I mean,
I don't want to tip my hand, but yeah.
Unless we were right all along, and as soon as we turn away from it, First Man's going to suddenly do amazing shit from now on.
Maybe.
But Yeah. But yeah, obviously the other 4 are not going anywhere.
Nah. And that's the same with original screenplay. 4 aren't going anywhere, and what's going to be the number 5?
Yeah, what's not going to be Cold War?
Yep, exactly. What else we got here? Let's see. Woodstock got either editing or sounds. That's a cool guy. Brian says even animated films are extremely hard to get in for editing and director. Song is weak this year. Cool guy has Buster Scruggs getting song nomination. Cool guy says Black Klansman wins. First Man will be snubbed for Black Panther. And Woodstock was nominated for film editing and sound in 1970. WGA lineup will be the Oscar lineup, and it says Smurfy Boy, and then Cold War will be snubbed for 8th grade. I'm at the point now, I don't think that Burnham's getting in. If he gets in, it's going to be at the very last second. I don't have as much faith in 8th grade anymore, but
he'll get in at the last second. If he gets in at the last second, it'll also be at the expense of something better than him, probably.
For me, I mean, if you look at the Writers Guild, it's probably somewhat of a toss-up between 8th grade and Quiet Place for original.
I will talk about that in the very near future.
I know I'm still being really, really stubborn about the First Reformed thing, but we'll see what happens.
That's okay. At least I maybe feel like I'm championing another vice like I have been lately, but it's definitely without a doubt not going to be American Hustle. It's going to win at least something.
It does make me wonder if you'd still be so passionate about Vice if you saw it.
Again, I can't watch anything. It's not my fault, okay?
God, if that's the case, I can't wait to get back from the cinema on Tuesday, having the day before seen it, because then I'll be like, why is all this love for this film? Why have they put on a strange Tommy Wiseau accent?
Murphy says Quiet Place takes the last spot in original screenplay. We'll see. Cool guy says there always is a movie that gets nominated for screenplay and nothing else. He says A Quiet Place will get sounds. I think Quiet Place is going a lot further than people think it is, but we'll get to that later. Speaking of that,
the only one that I think, if we really all believe the Hawk thing as much as we have been, the only thing that fits that mold is 8th grade.
Yeah. If it goes anywhere. Best Supporting Actress.
God damn it. Claire Foy did nothing in First Man.
She's definitely the chopping block here. Everybody else is in.
Well, I guess we can
go in the spider's web.
And there's one name that comes to mind, and once again, she's not on this list.
Okay, here's what I was telling you. Was that a lot of people, as soon as Regina King won the Globe, everybody was saying, oh, she's going to win anyway, no matter what. Even if, obviously she snubbed at SAG and all that, but even so, she'll still go on to win anyway. And obviously her momentum got in a lot better place after Globes. But I mean, when you really think about it, once she gets what's probably going to be her Oscar nomination still, I'm not doubting that or anything.
Same.
But there's going to be a long time where nobody's thinking about her because SAG is going to come and go and she's not there, and now BAFTA is going to come and go and she's not going to be there. We're not going to hear about her in between Oscar nominations day and Oscars day.
Yep.
So that should be interesting to watch.
And of course, the irony is, in the leading role, you've got the one that is going to get all the attention because she took over Claire Foy's role. And there's going to be all this hype and buzz going towards when season 3 of The Crown comes out.
They were talking about Brian said Vice he thought was going to underperform because it was an American biopic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is MoviePass's fault, Brian, without a doubt. If MoviePass didn't done its own party, I'd have been able to watch everything.
I'm trying to remember how much love we had over here for Big Short a few years back.
I thought it was weird, Owen, when you told me that your theater already lost Vice this week.
Yeah, it was gone. It was gone like in a week. I didn't get to see anything.
So if you got it on Christmas, that was only, 3 weeks?
Well, here's the thing, though. It's a Cinemark, so what do you expect? AMC's and Regals can keep movies a lot longer than Cinemarks usually can, especially when there's not as many screens. Cool Guy says, Disaster Artist, Logan, Molly's Game, and Big Sick, Lobster, 20th Century Women, Straight Outta Compton, Nightcrawler, Before Midnight, Moonrise Kingdom, Margin Call, Another Year, all examples. I like a lot of those movies, actually, Cool Guy.
Is this the screenplay but no other nominations thing?
Yep. A lot of those should have been a lot more than just that. Let's see what we got here. So Brian talking about Blunt missing for supporting actress and actress. Foy and Margot getting the last slot. It's weird. Smurfy Boy says it's weird for Regina King to miss out when they clearly saw Beale Street to give it 2 nominations. Brian said it's the supporting actor race of 2016 with Rylance and Stallone and the not nominated Idris Elba. Smurfy Boy thinks Regina King has a lot of respect in the industry to pull off the win. And Cool Guy says Happy Go Lucky, In Bruges, and In the Loop also missed screenplay and nominated for nothing else. And Brian says that's why I'm pulling The Death of Stalin.
I do have a question. And I do get where he's coming from, but even so, the question remains. If Regina King has enough love within the industry, why did she miss both big industry awards?
Well, you were always saying since day one that there was going to be an overwhelming love and sweeps for Amy Adams, and she has yet to win until Sunday.
We've also only had one show.
Yeah.
Oh, one big show anyway.
Right.
Yeah, that'll be a really interesting. Supporting actress is it's for once, supporting actress is interesting.
Cool Guy bringing up Lars and the Real Girl and Borat as well. Let's talk about the lineup.
I honestly think, but on the British side of that things, one of the favourites is going to win. As in one of the people from The Favourite, not The Favourite. God, I got myself confused.
I say they cancel each other out every single year, and every year I'm proven wrong. I mean, I don't know.
They might give more sway to Rachel because she's English.
Probably.
Because there's always one of the 4 actor and actresses which is like, well, you won because you're English.
Then Margot Robbie wins and throws a wrench in everything.
Well, she might actually win for actually being able to do an acceptable British accent after the furore that I had over Goodbye Christopher Robin.
Best supporting actor.
Well, before we move on, I do just want to confirm that I feel like I was already saying I thought Margot Robbie was in the 5th slot.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that she's got this, as we knew she would, on top of SAG, puts her in a really good place.
Don't forget Barbie.
I'm going to be worried the whole time Claire Foy will get it, but the fact that she missed SAG and Robbie has that, I feel like puts Robbie in a slightly better position.
Cool Guy continuing to bring up Before Sunset, Match Point, and Squid and the Whale. Smurfy Boy says SAG didn't get the screeners for Beale Street in time for nominations, and Rachel has an IOU because she lost Constant Gardner at BAFTA and won the Oscar.
Even if it wasn't in time for SAG, does that explain the PGA snub? I know it sounds like I'm like totally anti-Beale Street, but it's so weird.
You're going with the facts, what you're doing.
It's so weird the way the guilds aren't.
Send the DVDs out in time.
Speaking of weird, what Sam is going to get that 5th slot in supporting actor?
I think Elliot's perfectly fine. I think this is just weird. I don't know. Like, remember, I was baffled that Rockwell got in Globe. So this, on top of the fact that it's a movie like Vice about American politics, I don't know what the hell is going on.
I can't see Sam Elliott missing here.
Or is it Samuel L. Jackson for Avengers Infinity War for those 30 seconds? Because they can't put Black Panther in here.
But here's the question. Let's play devil's advocate here. Let's say both Sams get in. Who do they take out? The only person that's I honestly think the only person
Driver?
that's expendable here is Chalamet.
Only because I think the reason you think that's because Beautiful Boy won't have any other nominations, so it feels like the movie's kind of off the radar apart from him. But I mean, he is. I'm actually going to review Beautiful Boy on the favorite video.
Yes.
I think Chalamet is perfectly fine, even without
I
like.
do
There's
too.
a reason he's being nominated, even though Beautiful Boy's not getting anything else.
I'm fine with having our 5 we've been talking about since day one being the Oscar 5. Rockwell's just kind of shaking things up a little bit.
It better not be fucking Adam Driver. I'm going to fucking hit somebody. But I think he'll be.
There's no one. I mean, I was thinking Grant was the one that was susceptible to being taken out, but I don't believe that anymore.
If we're going the British way of things, Grant might win this.
Yeah, I was thinking. I was feeling it a long while back, and then somebody actually brought it up. He's getting like Mark Rylance comparisons, which makes perfect sense, actually. Because like I was saying, I don't really see Ali going like consistently, especially since somebody's trying so hard to bring Green Book down. But then again, Ali might actually get potentially more sympathy from the controversy because 2 out of those 4 controversies affect him.
Wow, I didn't even realize this. If he gets in, that's Richard E. Grant's first award nomination at all.
Yeah, isn't that a crime?
Not even With Nail and I got BAFTA nominations for his acting.
Yeah, this is a long time coming. You know what he's amazing in? He got no credit for was Dom Hemingway, that movie with Jude Law.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, he was amazing in that.
Well, having to sort of be the sensible one against, Jude's crazy Don Hemingway character.
Cool guy mentioning About a Boy, E2 Mamba Tambien, Like a Big Fat Greek Wedding, Dirty Pretty Thing, American Splendor, Ghost World, The Royal Tenenbaums. Dirty Boy says, if the Academy likes The Favor enough, Nicholas Hoult could get that last spot. That would be your happiness, AJ.
I did really like him in it, but that seems like a huge... He would have gotten in here if he had a shot.
Agreed.
Especially... how in the hell... This Rockwell thing is getting more and more baffling as it goes on.
Ali didn't win the BAFTA for Moonlight because it went to Dev Patel. That was Brian.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so there's another IOU.
Yeah, but I never really actually thought about that till I was just talking about it now, and it was coming out of my mouth. But as far as people trying to take Green Book down, given that 2 of the controversies involve Viggo Mortensen saying a racial slur and Vallelonga tweeting anti-Muslim tweets, both of which are like negatively go against Ali. Will the controversies help Ali actually? Even if it, I don't think it's going to damage the movie, but like I said, the media and all that is going to try to make it seem like that's what's happening.
I know you, Owen. You made the joke about which Sam. And, I mentioned Samuel L. Jackson because Black Panther. Don't rule out Michael B. Jordan actually getting in here for supporting.
No chance. No chance.
That's what I was saying.
Honestly, way too packed. It's way too packed. There's no chance.
I'm not, like I said last time, I think it was during the Critics' Choice video or something. I'm probably not going to go towards Jordan because I feel so confident in those 5. These 4 plus Sam Elliott. But like I said, the last time I watched Black Panther, it was weird how easily I could imagine many of his scenes being Oscar clips.
I just think that's way too many.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
People that are already in.
Hasn't seen Black Panther.
It doesn't matter. There's way too many names that are already been established that fit this category like a glove. It doesn't seem like it's a category that really makes any sense for us.
It's ABC. Disney is going to win every award because they're fixing it this year.
I think the point we're all trying to make is if
Sam Rockwell shouldn't be there.
Yes, Michael B. Jordan surely has to be above Rockwell in regards to what the 6th and 7th slots are.
Yes.
That's what we're trying to say.
What we're trying to say is there's quite a few people that should be in there before Rockwell.
Rockwell was more of a cameo, is what Smurfy Boy just said.
Yeah, like we mentioned before, Carell is more, for that same movie, is more, like, worthy. And he didn't even change his fucking voice.
I just can't see it happening. We're so fixated on this 5. I don't see anything changing it.
But then again, isn't that kind of worrisome too? Like, it almost feels too safe.
It can be. Yeah, it feels very safe.
Technically, it's not too safe because Sam Elliott missed Globes in this, but I still feel like Sam Elliott's not going anywhere.
It doesn't seem like it makes sense for him to go anywhere.
Yeah, so...
Cool Guy agrees. Jordan might get in. I just don't see it. There's too many names that are already in here, but I mean, I think the point is made that Rockwell's not going to be that 5th slot. Now watch him win this, and then just completely
watch him be Judi Dench in Shakespeare in Love.
But he can win the BAFTA and not even get nominated for the Oscar too.
Yeah, if Rockwell and Foy get in, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do, but it's not gonna be anything good.
It's going to be a good possibility for First Man to get in a picture, and right now I don't have it in there, but I could be wrong.
And once again, it's not. I'm not even saying that I have anything against what Rockwell did in the movie.
Right.
It's just, when you look at the options here, it's just so baffling that would be here.
Also, every time I hear him in the trailer, I just think, well, that's Sam Rockwell being what Chuck, what was his name? Chuck Barris from Bloody Confessions of a Dangerous Mind.
Yeah. That movie was amazing.
Hot damn!
Cool Guy says Rockwell could be 5th slot. Smurfy Boy says if the Academy can't decide between the Sams, Jordan could sneak in. Maybe. Dench had an IOU because she lost for Mrs. Brown and Helen Hunt. It's like Kate Winslet and Steve Jobs. I don't see First Man getting in for picture either, but there's got to be a 10th slot if we go for 10. But I don't know. Like I said before, I'm starting to believe the magic number this year is 7. I don't know why. It's just something's jumping out at me that it's 7 this year.
And then if they just go 10, it'd be like, well,
12.
Missed it by that much.
There is nobody on this network that's going to make that reference without me making a comment. Well, if the shoe fits, use it as a phone.
Comedy.
No, there's not going to be. So yeah, we move on to Best Actress. Again, this was my Oscar lineup in August, and I deviated away from it because Viola Davis seemed like she was dead in the water. Nope, she got in here.
Yeah,
but that's all it got.
So yeah, earlier I was saying it was baffling to me that not only do they not go with the beloved British actress in the iconic British role, but they go for Vice and the dude that played an American president for 30 goddamn seconds. But yeah, but they also went with Viola Davis when Widow's got fuck all else. This makes no sense.
Good Lord.
Steve McQueen is never working with 20th Century Fox again. Fox Searchlight, maybe.
So it's obviously the 4. And then you have the 5th slot, which AJ can't go with. He can't go with what he wants to go with because he doesn't want to kill her chances. And I get that.
Well, I mean, it's not even just the whole "I'm afraid I'll jinx her" thing. I really do feel confident that Yalitza will come in at the last second.
I don't see how.
Because they're gonna love Roma that much.
How much? What was it? A Maud that the old lady got in?
Emmanuel Riva.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It's happened before. That
I remember everybody was like all up in there. Everybody was all up in arms thinking that she was going to win the thing. Like almost since day one when they found out she was nominated.
Yeah, not that. Well, I was going to make a comparison there, but it didn't make sense, so forget it. I had to think it through for a second. I was gonna throw Isabelle Huppert into that also, but the whole winning the Globe thing and the fact that she was in it for a while, she didn't necessarily come from out of nowhere, but
no. Well, missing BAFTA is big. Viola Davis isn't getting anything. Coleman wins easily. Yalitza's getting the last slot. I don't know. I guess we'll see. It might be just as easy as, like AJ said, they just love Roma that much that doesn't matter what they're going to nominate it for.
I mean, obviously, there's something in my heart I really hope for, but once again, I feel like it's a long shot. If voters are going to say, well, these are definitely the main four, and it's like, we definitely want Yalitza for that 5th spot. So it's like, oh, it's a shame we have to snub Blunt. Oh, wait, there's an open slot in supporting actress. I don't think that's going to happen. It's what I want to happen, though.
I have a different way of dealing.
I'm really feeling Robbie in that 5th slot, so I'm not like actually going in that direction or anything. But
I have Robbie. I have both getting in, so we'll see how that works out. We'll see what happens. I mean, it could go to Blunt. It could go Yalitza. It could even go to somebody we're not even thinking about.
God, what if it is Viola Davis? That'd be fucking nuts.
The fact that matters is the person that I really want to see win this category. Her only chance at this point is going to be Sunday, and it's not going to happen Sunday. I mean, she could possibly win SAG, but I mean,
I think somebody we haven't mentioned that is up tomorrow night. Honestly, I don't think. I mean, it seems like, yeah, just from the when you look at the Critics Awards and stuff like that. I don't know entirely that Toni Collette is out of this until.
No, not at all. She is definitely a dark horse here.
She could suddenly show up. Yeah, sure.
But the thing is people are complaining that she should be sweeping and all that. But I mean, and even though she is she's probably my second favorite performance of the year under Blunt and A Quiet Place. I totally understand if that movie is just way too fucked up for them to go towards. As amazing as Collette is in it, if they completely turn away from that movie, that's as much as I love Hereditary, I can totally see them just saying, just seeing that movie and then trying to get it out of their heads. Even if that means, not even going anywhere near Colette, but she would definitely earn it if she were to somehow materialize here. But I really feel that Yalitza thing happening.
I know it's not what you want. I know that's what you're feeling, though.
Yes.
Ryan says A Quiet Place gets in. Michael Bay will become an Oscar nominated.
That's right.
Hey, we'll just say it's overdue for Pain and Gain. I'm good with that. Brian said, I loved Huppert in Elle, but Emma Stone did deserve the win. Smurfy Boy says Ronan could sneak in if Robbie gets in.
I was a little surprised he didn't turn up here. In retrospect, I wasn't necessarily thinking about it going in, but it's so bizarre, especially since it's the reverse of what the Vanessa Redgrave movie did, where Redgrave got in and Glenda Jackson didn't. Now they're reversed, and Ronan won't get in, but Robbie very well could.
Colette is probably out of it. Definitely a dark horse at the Spirit Awards. Colette deserves a nomination. So does Alex Wolff and Ari Aster.
I agree with that.
And we move on to Best Actress. Now into Best Actor.
Ashley really called that Steve Coogan thing.
If John C. Reilly made it in for the Americans, the British are going to swing the other way.
So, obviously, I mean, there's a lot of people that could be that 5th slot. I know AJ is really championing Ethan Hawke at this point.
Obviously, I did the whole. It was a whole no guts, no glory, fuck it prediction as far as Ethan Hawke for tomorrow. But as I've been saying, if Rami Malek just sweeps, that's what I really want to see.
Same, because it's actually a movie that I've seen. So yes.
I mean, who's his biggest competition here? I mean, I would say not Bale because he's playing an American politician, but he's a British guy in a movie about American politics that for some reason BAFTA really loved, apparently.
It's Bale versus Malik right now, honestly. Bradley Cooper should be a lot more in this than he is.
I meant to mention this when we were talking about him, but isn't it like really endearing how much John C. Reilly and Steve Coogan have split the accolades? Like usually they just pick one and run with it, but it's been like really split up pretty much evenly between them.
Right. Cool Guy says Steve Coogan isn't getting nominated for anything. If Malik wins BAFTA and SAG, the race is over, says Smurfy Boy. Ethan Hawke is not getting nominated. That movie and his performance had lost all momentum. Bale is British, so he could win. So who's the last slot then? John David Washington?
For me, I'd say that's the more likely.
Isn't it great that the hatred for Denzel carried over to his kid at BAFTA?
Nice. You have my first Bo Cephas of the night, so yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's honestly, like we brought up before, if you talk about loving the movie so much, why is Ryan Gosling not here? Because I think I was the only one that had any faith he would get it anywhere.
And the fact that he made it into SAG and not John David Washington, you know, if that was the 7, I'd put, you know, if you include Defoe and Hawke as well, being the other 2 nominees in that, out of those 3, the weakest is Gosling.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about if we're underestimating Defoe in that 5th slot. I mean, obviously he didn't get SAG or BAFTA, but like he's hung around, which is enough.
It can be.
Because I feel like Washington is too. I know he got SAG, but I don't know. I just can't imagine that. And obviously, I'm the biggest fucking cheerleader for Black Klansman. Yet I'll be the first one to tell you I'm really not feeling the Washington thing.
I'm trying to see if Fraternity's Gate has actually even come out here for it to be.
I mean, honestly, the person that always came to mind originally was the name that we were thinking of, and that was Lucas Hedges. But he seemed to completely fall off the face of the earth.
Fraternity's Gate has no release date for UK. Although the only big market where it could be sort of rivaling it, Germany, has it listed as the 18th of April. So for the BAFTAs, it could be for next year.
Brian thinks Hawk's going to take the Spirit. Cool Guy says half Malik and Bale. Or, no, sorry, 1 and 2, Malik and Bale tied. 3's Cooper, 4 Vigo, 5 Washington, 6 Defoe, 7 Hawke, 8 Gosling, 9 everyone else.
Yeah, I will.
Literally everyone else.
I mean, I know I've been on the Hawk thing all year, or a good portion of it. But I really would not be surprised to see Defoe be in that slot
over Washington.
And don't expect John C. Reilly in there because he did Holmes and Watson.
That review's coming to this network very soon.
Yeah, because like I said, I don't know what it is. But I am not, because remember, I was predicting Washington when we started, but after I saw the movie, ever since I've given up on him. And him getting in Globe and SAG was like really surprising to me. So I don't know.
It could very well happen.
What's interesting is even though they snubbed him, this paper I'm looking at, where lead actor is listed, is just a big ass picture from Black Klansman with him in it. I don't know what that means, but
I'm guessing they put it in for Adam Driver, maybe. But
supporting actor is like 2 pages away from this.
Cool Guy says Washington's competition is weak. Brian says, you said in August Black Klansman was more of Driver's movie than Washington's.
Yeah, I still stand by that.
He's been saying that since day one, yeah. And basically, the question is, who's going to job out to Rami Malek at the Oscars? And I'm so happy to be able to say that.
Topher Grace.
It'll be further solidified when the SAGs get announced.
Well, we've only got 3 weeks for that, is it?
Best director. I mean, we've got 3 guarantees. One is basically on the cusp right now of being a guarantee, and then you've got one spot, which is definitely not going to happen.
I'd say you've got 4 guarantees.
I don't know about Yorgos. I don't.
Get on the Lanthimos train. Get on the Lanthimos train now.
Sorry, I was thinking that Owen was thinking that maybe he was Spike Lee.
Oh God, no, he's getting
it. Keep it. You gotta remember, Owen. They fucking loved Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Well, first off, number one, I just looked at my final predictions that I have in front of me right now, which you can't see because my camera's garbage. So needless to say, which is good because you guys don't know what don't know about my hand.
They extremely love the lobster, though. That's what I'm trying to say.
I've got 4, so I have 4 that are in there, and then there's a 5th slot.
Yeah, I'm so fucking annoyed.
And I know who I think the 5th slot's going to go to.
I finally jump on the Barry Jenkins train, and the guilds say "fuck Beale Street." So I don't know what the hell. I mean, I talked about the whole. I'd love for Schrader to do a Bennett Miller thing, but obviously, I quickly jumped off that.
Right.
Partially, I'm wondering whether some of these have purposefully got obvious choices missing to make sure they don't have, oh, that person wins every fucking award like last year.
I just really hope it's not McKay or Farrelly. It's like I said, as much as I liked Green Book, with the competition he has, Farrelly does not belong here. And like McKay is like, I don't feel like McKay should be encouraged to keep doing what he did with Vice.
I mean, again, I don't like tipping my hand, but Cool Guy said it pretty much the same way. McKay, Spike, Quaron, and Cooper will get in the last slot between Farrelly, Jenkins, Yorgos, and Powell. And I think he pretty much said exactly what I'm saying, too. Adam McKay's my 5th slot. I don't think Farrelly's getting in. Then both of them get in. Both of the comedy directors get in, and they bump someone else out.
I don't know. It's just I'm not fully understanding anybody that's not on the Lanthimos train at this point.
I'm there. I just completely forgot that I put him in at the last minute. I'm on the train. Don't worry.
Just as long as it isn't
my predictions are in front of me, and he's definitely there.
As long as it isn't Damien Chazelle for First Man.
I mean, I had him originally, but now
why that's in the Critics' Choice, I don't know.
The moon scene by itself.
Just wish Bradley Cooper was more of a challenger here.
Yeah, but with the moon scene, is that more cinematography and like the tech stuff rather than direction?
That's a really blurry line.
Blurry.
There you go. Smurfy Boy said it as well. Green Book's controversy may cause Farrelly to miss.
I'm assuming that'll pretty much be the only hit it takes in regards to the controversies.
I would say so. Brian keeps talking about Ryan Coogler. Obviously, him missing here doesn't matter because the BAFTAs didn't go for Black Panther.
Give it to Boots Riley for Sorry to Bother You, goddammit.
I was really starting to believe Coogler was going to get in DGA. But obviously that didn't happen, but he's still a possibility.
The problem is, considering what Disney seemingly have done with a lot of these categories, there could be just, and here's the nomination brought to you by Disney, and that could be Coogler.
Yorgos missing DGA was big.
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember, was that even eligible?
He missed DGA, but it was for like fairly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I didn't really take that as like as soon as I saw the DGA lineup, the very first thing I said to myself was, I'm still feeling Lanthimos. Like without even a doubt in my mind.
And I felt a whole lot better about picking Adam McKay as well.
I know.
Despite the fact we all know that Alfonso Cuarón's won it already.
Yeah, it's like, what are we even fucking discussing?
Who's going to jump
arguing about Yorgos and McKay and Lee and Farrelly when Alfonso's fucking won it? Anybody that's watching this on archive, clip that and use it when he doesn't win at the Oscars.
What's funny is you can tell that too because we've been discussing director for a while now. This is the first time we've even brought Cuarón's name up because it's just that obvious.
Brian brings up Lenny Abramson. That was a shock.
Oh, for Room?
Who would be Lenny Abrahamson in this case?
Well, to me, it's Adam McKay, but he's already in, so there's really nobody. Because everybody here seems to be solidified in that spot.
I mean, if you really want to go that way, go for the directors of Leave No Trace.
Deborah Granick.
Yeah. Randomly put that in there.
Well, on that note, we go to our the favorite is the front runner for picture. There's no way the Yorgos misses out. Yeah, very true. Best film. I'm so happy Black Klansman's in here.
You got to justify the fish lenses somehow.
I mean, not surprising the 5 really. I'm honestly the way it performed. I'm kind of surprised that Bohemian Rhapsody's not in here.
And honestly, First Man. Really.
Vice.
Yeah, but the favorite literally has 5 more nominations than any other film,
and that's why it's going to lose. Because reasons.
Well, no, because it's going to get probably British film, and then
yeah, I mean it's easy.
It'd be crazy if it wins British film and best film, which was like the other 4 shouldn't have fucking come.
Yeah, despite the favorite's overwhelming nominations, I could totally. I mean, I'm probably stating the obvious here, but I could just totally see this being Roma anyway.
Although, from what the so-called experts on the news were saying when they announced this, most people think it's going to go to A Star Is Born, and then maybe Roma.
That would be great, but it's not going to happen.
I somehow wonder whether the Academy and the critics are completely different. Well, they clearly must be, because there's absolutely nothing in here for Leave No Trace, despite the fact all the love that the critics gave it. I'm
starting to think at this point the favorite could come up 0 for 2 at the BAFTAs. It could lose British film to Bohemian Rhapsody and then lose picture to Roma. That
will never happen. It will never lose British film.
Maybe they go that way then and they give Bohemian Rhapsody British and favorite best film. In which case you go, well, why is Bohemian Rhapsody a best film if it was better than the favorite British? So
did the King's Speech win both?
3 Billboards did.
Yeah.
Let's have a quick look. Side by side comparison. I can scroll down. Yeah, but Free Film. I still feel that's a scam because 3 Billboards beat Paddington 2, motherfuckers. Brooklyn got nominated. No, Brooklyn didn't even get nominated. Really? Brooklyn got nominated or won Best British Film, but wasn't even in Best Film.
I remember complaining about that back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Wait, what? So, that again is weird. So, Gravity is Best British Film back in 2013.
Yep.
And best not British film was 12 Years a Slave, which is a film for production from Steve McQueen. What?
No sense.
God, I completely forgot Skyfall got best British film. Yeah, 2010, King's Speech did the double.
Okay. So there's precedence. I guess we'll see what happens. But if it happened last year, I don't think it's going to happen 2 years in a row.
Then again, I'm also looking back. This Is England got best British film in 07, beating Atonement, yet Atonement got best picture. So I guess there's precedence there as well.
We shall see.
And Last King of Scotland beat the Queen, despite the fact the Queen won in the year before.
So I think that's going to be our show. So tomorrow, as soon as the Critics' Choice Awards finish, join the three of us as we talk about the actual award show itself. And then this Tuesday, time to be announced, our final 2019 Academy Awards predictions. We predict every single category. Thanks, everyone, for joining us tonight, whether live or in archive. Thanks to everyone in our live chat. You guys are awesome, as always. And thank you for providing so much flowing commentary throughout the entire show. We appreciate that greatly. So, Ashley, where can we find you on social media?
I'm on Twitter at Ash is my name UK.
Speaking of UK, Volter debuted NXT UK TakeOver. We'll talk about that on Monday, among other things, on our Monday Wrestling Podcast. And Ashley will be back with more snack stashes and gaming with Ash in the near future. AJ cannot be found on social media, but if you'd like to leave him a comment, you're more than welcome to do so underneath this video or any of the other podcasts or videos he has on this network. And if you want to get your fix, if you are like AJ, you realize that travesty was done, then check out Speaking Bluntly, the segment that AJ did for several weeks, chronicling the entire filmography of Emily Blunt. So check those out.
And Marshall was just talking today about the fact that they're moving ahead on the American Children sequel, so that was really nice to hear as well.
Very nice.
Especially after the shitty news that BAFTA gave, but it's going to do what it's going to do.
Something tells me next Tuesday is going to be different. Anyway, so we'll talk about that and our Oscar nominations when they come out. Here's what we're going to do this year. I'm going to be the first one to tell you guys. We're not going to do them live because last year's cluster of the sound and everything, we're all going to be doing them right after they end. We're going to go live after the fact without having seen anything, and we're going to react in the podcast format. And then after we're done, whether it's immediate or later on in the day, we're going to be doing our reactions. Not knee-jerk reactions.
We're going to have to synchronize the YouTube video, though, when it's bloody been announced.
Well, we'll figure that out. It's okay. So if you'd like to, you can also check out AJ's movie reviews and verses. They will be out in the near future. We had a new movie review was posted yesterday, so check that out if you get a chance to. And I have more content on this network too. Every once in a while, throw out a sip and snack to you guys. So you guys can see my face when it's not a podcast. When I actually wear my glasses. So
I still have to do that review of The Favorite and Beautiful Boy and Holmes and Watson and all that. But I feel like my top priority right now is doing the top 10.
AJ and Ashley have top 10s of the year coming up soon, so stay tuned for those.
I'll have to do it without seeing Beale Street, unfortunately, but I'll be like the Guilds and say fuck Beale Street, I guess. So
I could literally go watch it. I could go outside my house and go watch it right now, but
I'm literally going. I'm ignoring BAFTA rules, and I'm literally going calendar year, so Beale Street won't classify until next year.
There you go. So
that means spoilers. Shape of Water is probably going to be in there.
There you go. So if you'd like to, follow me on Twitter at Sro and Disney and follow the network at Popcast Network. We have a Facebook fan page at Popcast Network. And once again, I want to thank everyone for watching. Thank you everyone for tuning in today. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, quite literally, that's all we got to say about that.
Volta chop.